DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective, your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
We have indeed. Draft heads, welcome back in. It's been a hot minute. I'm Joe Williams. I'll be your host for this particular episode. Welcome back into the KPC, Key Pass Collective. So happy to be back. Thanks to everyone who's watching us live. Let's see who's checked in. Banta Mama, what's going on? Ben Chickens, Omar, Draft Espresso. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream, which will later become a podcast. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, do consider joining us for the live stream. We're a day early this week, so thanks to those who were able to make it. I know we probably threw you off, but some of us have a couple dinner plans tomorrow, so it's threw a wrench in the works there. But thanks for flipping around your schedules so you can join us tonight, this morning, whatever it is for you, wherever you are. But anyway, let's talk quick about the KPC. We are, of course, the audio companion to the Draft Society website. So quickly, as we do every week, let's talk about the Draft Society. If you've not been there and you found this podcast, I'm not quite sure how that progression worked. But hey, just if you've never been there, check it out. It's going to be your one-stop shop for all of your draft needs. Everything involving the draft version of the Premier League fantasy football game. We've got consensus rankings, weekly waiver wire articles, Sleepers 11 every single week, draft stats that you're not going to find anywhere else, an entire spreadsheet of draft metrics that are pretty staggering, pretty cool. Articles on how to set up your leagues, Draft 101 articles. We have predicted lineups. Now, there's a lot of stuff on there, and that's all free. And if you are willing to support an independent fantasy football website, we would greatly appreciate it. And you're going to get some added benefits for being a part of what we call the inner circle. That is rest of season player rankings every single week from Robbie. We've got points projections every single week for all of the players and those we think are going to be starting. Sortable consensus ranks every single international break. We just put some of those out in January. Extra articles weekly like Ryan's Ghost Point Tracker and Ghost Point Hunter article. Check those out. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can get in our Discord, which is exclusive, and you can send us confidential trade emails, which no one in your league will see. There's a lot of really good stuff, and we think it's super worth it. Also, if you sign up for the season pass, you'll get the crown jewel, which is the fantasy toolkit. And the fantasy toolkit, created by Draft Lad, it's going to be tailored specifically to your Fantrax ID. And that's going to give you pickups specific to your league, that players are available in your actual league at this very moment. It's going to give you live kind of projections, you versus your opponent. It's going to give you a rest of season score for your roster. It's going to give you fixture difficulty tracker. There's so much on there. It's a really incredible tool. And it makes your game week prep super easy every single week and a lot quicker, which is huge these days. So check that out. We're still running Draft Miss. Probably just run Draft Miss through like March. I don't know. Anyway, we're still running Draft Miss. So enter the code Happy Draft Miss 23, and you can get that season pass for a cut rate at $30 for the rest of the entire season. And that, of course, would include that fantasy toolkit. Okay, let's get down to business, shall we? Today on the KPC, we are talking, first, we're going to check in on double and blank game weeks, which have been updated. We have the graphic care of the wonderful Ben Krellin. We'll talk through that quickly and just make sure everybody is up to date on what to expect from blanks and doubles. Then we have our latest episode of Fantasy Fake, Fantasy for Real. We haven't done that. I looked. since game week 9. So this will be interesting to check in with some new names on Fantasy Fake, Fantasy for Real. And finally, we'll close out with Game Week 24 waiver wire and stash candidates. And of course, in the chat, as we go along, feel free to pop your questions in there. We'll get to them as we can throughout. So first, let's check in with some guys you know and some guys you love. Maybe one of each. I don't know. No and love. Is it? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But gentlemen, how you doing?
Oh, good. I missed the Joe monologue. I haven't heard it in a while.
It's more of a pitch, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest.
Diatribe.
I'm not under false impressions. I know it's a pitch, but I mean, the community is so amazing. Those that already support us, honestly, we owe them everything. They're fantastic. But yeah,
I mean, the genuine surprise in your voice that says, "And all of this is for real and free," and it's just unparalleled.
Yeah.
Also, I never knew that it was fantasy real, fantasy. What was fantasy fake, fantasy for real?
Yeah.
I thought it was fantasy real, fantasy fake.
No, wait until we get to the song. Listen to it.
Okay.
You're gonna really have to tune into the song today.
I will.
Okay. Because the lyrics are deep.
No, it's the melodies. They get me. I just get in the groove, and then I just don't listen to music. Whereas in the intro, I can actually hear the background singers singing.
No, they don't say what you think they say or what you claim they say. They just don't. Ryan, what's happening, man? Oh, you are muted, I think. Son of a bitch.
Sorry, it's been a while. God damn.
It's good that not much has changed since I was another part.
If it ain't broke.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Toddy's been in another country. I was in rural Iowa, which might as well be another country.
It essentially is.
Yeah. Right, Ryan. What non-native experiences have you had?
I've stayed put mostly the last.
That's non-native for you.
That's true.
Yeah, it sucks.
Probably the longest time you've stayed put for a while.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's true. But we got Draftapalooza coming up, and then got some good trips planned.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's been a tough winter.
Good call. Reminder
marks
if you're
to eliminate.
Yeah. No, you're right. And now we have an extra day this time. But reminder, if you're in Richmond, Virginia, or anywhere around the vicinity, come join us for a pint President's Day weekend. Hit us up. We're going to be hanging out there and watching some footy and going to Cat Williams. Fucking amazing.
That's one does.
That's one does. As a bunch of white guys. As a bunch of white guys do.
What's President's Day?
Washington's birthday. But Joe would probably know more, but it morphed into President's Day.
Yeah. It's become like a day we honor a lot of different presidents as opposed to just the one.
Is it a weekday or a weekend?
It's Monday. A Monday.
It's a Monday. So it's like a bank holiday.
Yeah.
Like
that's all it is.
Weekend.
That's all it is.
It's just an excuse.
Nobody does anything meaningful on that day. We're
other than us.
Yeah, well, we're going to be probably hungover from.
Are you going to be wearing masks of different presidents?
This isn't Point Break. I mean,
we're not going to rob a bank, Toddy. Jesus.
I did. Fun fact: I did dress up as one of the dead presidents from. I actually dressed up as somebody from Dead Presidents movie, as well as one of the dead presidents from Point Break. Any guess as to which one?
Oh, got to be Nixon.
Yeah, that was going to be my guess.
No,
it's the Gipper.
Oh, Omar was right there with you. Point blank.
I'm trying to remember who. I think Bodie had the Reagan mask. I'm trying to remember, but I was the Oh no, it was Roach. I was the Reagan character. Yeah, it was Roach.
Toddy Mandalorian also chiming in that they're also mattress and car sales on President's Day, which is a very important point. All right.
Are they mattress sales and car sales, or is that somehow combined?
It's like a camper van. It's like it's like
Winnebago sale.
It's like the mystery machine.
So you buy a mattress, you get a car, or something like that.
I mean, that was the dream in high school. I had a station wagon in high school. It was.
You had a car in high school?
Just, I mean, it's fine, but like,
It's fine.
we don't have to talk about it being a station wagon. But
Sounds creepy, but it's fine.
No, some will make fun of me about that. But listen, my girlfriend and I didn't need a place to stay if we ever like wanted to
stay at the place.
To hang out. Anyway, shall we?
You just went to the drive-in and then you went up the creek.
Up the creek, as
and
one says. It. Yeah.
That was it.
In a manner of speaking.
Good times.
All right.
Anywho,
let's talk.
What do we have on
Good times in rural Iowa.
Good times in rural Iowa. Let's talk about the fixtures. Okay, so we have, as people can see on their screen, I'll make it full screen actually and bring us back in a second. Okay, so we do have some confirmed double game weeks coming up next game week. And so let's go through those really quickly, especially for audio listeners. So we've got Brentford, who are facing Liverpool and Manchester City. We have Manchester City.
That's not next game week, though. The game week after next, right?
Well, not the coming game week. I mean, like
not next in the sense that it is the next one. Next in the sense that it is the next one after the next one.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fine. Yes. So after this game week, which is upon us here shortly, we will have the next game week, which will involve a double. Anyway, so City is facing Chelsea and Brentford. Luton is facing United and Liverpool, and Liverpool is facing Brentford and Luton. So I think this is fairly straightforward in terms of teams that might end up, benefiting from this versus teams that might have a trap game or a trap week, if you will. But Toddy, how are you sort of digesting that double game week information?
I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, I think sort of the meaningful advice that we can give on this one is this is probably the time to get some value for your underappreciated and sell low-ish Liverpool and City assets, because otherwise you're not gonna stream a Brentford player, and you're probably not able to stream a viable Luton player either. And there's no streamers for City and Liverpool available. I'd probably start all the starters for Liverpool and the usual suspects for City anyway. So there's not much streaming value in that double game week. I think it's more the sneaky try to sell your Kakpos and Luis Diaz's and Grealishes and Doku's and all the sort of lower level City and Liverpool assets on the promise of 100 plus minutes in the double.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry, I think I might have missed the first part. Had to go grab a package before it got stolen.
Good.
Yeah,
as you do.
An epidemic here, Tottiandor.
Hard out here in the streets
in Hungary, but yeah, if you don't grab your package right when it gets delivered, it's a goner.
Damn.
They don't put down packages in front of flats in Hungary. If you're not home, then they don't deliver it.
Yeah, that's not how it is here.
No,
Even
not
if
at
you are
all.
home and you have a sign that says "Ring the bell, don't leave it here." They steal them. They'll still leave it there, which is exactly what just happened. But anyways, you were making the point that there's not many streaming opportunities, or not many streaming opportunities just for City and Liverpool.
No, at all. Like, you don't want to stream the streamers from Brentford against Liverpool and City.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Gotta be. You can't be talking about defenders.
Just a few exceptions.
Okay.
Tell us.
I will. That's why I wanted to make that point, so that I could deliver this important piece of advice. I like Norgard. I've stashed him in a couple leagues. He should be good for a 10-pointer, potentially more if he nicks a attacking return. He'll be busy. He was unlucky not to at least come close to a goal. He had a couple good shots that were blocked at the end against City, but even so, his ghost should get you up to double digits, which is what you are looking for in a midfield streamer. And Sambi Lokonga for Luton, similar boat.
Do you think he starts too?
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. I think Nakamba's out, and that role has kind of been his own, and he's impressed me. Like, he's been a weird one for Arsenal. You could see his talent, but he would just kind of shrink in games, and whenever he got an opportunity, he just didn't seize it. So I was glad that he got a loan opportunity. Didn't start out very well at Luton, but the last few times I've seen him with Luton, he's been great, and I've seen that Luton Town fans are appreciating him. So long wind up to say that I like him in this double as well. I think Luton Town defenders are a trap.
Oh God.
I think someone like Ruben Dias could be a good one. As we all know, they concede random goals. But Chelsea and Brentford at home, maybe they nick one clean sheet. Maybe. If not, he can get 3 to 6 points.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that, Ryan?
Yeah.
I was looking at City defenders to potentially put in my streamers for this episode, and because they face Everton, and I was looking at roster percentages in the big three leagues. So the Community League, the International Community League, and the Discord League. And it's actually amazing. Like, usually the community is dialed in to the point where they kind of know, all right, we're not touching City defenders. No, they're all, Walker, Diaz, Gvardiol, and who am I missing? Ake.
Okay.
Are all like 90+% rostered. So you're not going to get them anywhere.
You don't want them.
I dropped
fair.
I had both Dias and Ake, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with one. I can't do that to myself going both. So I dropped Ake, and he was quickly picked up. So I'm going in on Dias just because he goes to the best. Yesterday, I think he still finished with 6+, which is nice with a goal conceded, especially for a City defender. That's like unheard of.
Yeah.
And Gvardiol ghosted
it
out of his mind yesterday.
Gvardiol got like 13.5.
Yeah, he's
the best ghosting defender for City.
Yeah. He's the only one that is consistent, quasi-consistently ghosting.
Yeah, either way.
Although Walker's been surprisingly pretty good this season. Better than like he previously was, which was like wouldn't even roster him in a triple game week.
Yeah, four with a clean sheet.
Anyway, like,
but even
go ahead.
Then I don't think like Chelsea and Brentford it's not even that an easy of a schedule. Like, it's not. It's perfectly plausible that they don't get any clean sheets in the next 3 games: Everton, Chelsea, Brentford. Why would you go through the pain of trying to hope for an 8-point or a 9-point clean sheet.
Because the alternatives for streaming defenders are fucking nightmare.
Well, that week it would be, let's see, Arsenal against Burnley. They're all pretty much rostered. Maybe Villa against Fulham.
Zuma against Forest.
Yeah.
Your boy Van Hecke versus
No,
Sheffield
don't
United.
go to no Van Hecke, no Van Hecke, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple options there.
I mean,
I wouldn't go for a Tottenham defender against Wolves, hoping for a clean sheet.
that's good because no one from the Tottenham defense is available unless they start the
Dragon.
Romanian.
The Dragon.
So they ride the Dragon.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, yeah. Okay.
Tyreek Mitchell against Everton.
I suppose. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I got negative 6.5 last week or something. So
yeah.
Anyway, here's something I wanted to bring up. So ahead of this double game week, you see Luton's fixtures, right? Home to United, yes. Away at Anfield, yikes. They have Sheffield United this week. If you sort fantasy points by the last month, you will notice that 4 Luton players are in the top 15. 4 Luton players are in the top 15 in fantasy points overall in the last month.
Is it Barkley, Adebayo,
Ogbene?
I don't think it's Doughty. He's been okay, but he hasn't been. Yeah,
you're missing one.
Carlton Morris, probably.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
And Ross Barkley, I'll have you know, is number 1. He has the most fantasy points of any player over the last month. So my point is this: sell.
I like that. I actually like that point. And I was gonna come to it later in the pod, but I do agree that this is like a hot streak, and you want to get off. Like he might get you 20 odd against Sheffield United, and again 15 something in the double, but they will fade. And once they start fading, their trade value will fade faster than the fading of their sort of fantasy output. So actually selling, and maybe a strategic sell, meaning that you sell to a manager that you're not playing in the next 3 games or something like that. That you're not facing, like you're not selling to someone who then will play Barkley against Sheffield United or something like that.
Right.
So essentially you're weakening or strengthening the opponent for other managers, whereas getting decent value for your low cost asset.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, selling right before Sheffield United in a double is like, I mean, that's why you've held this entire time. Not to mention the freaking points extravaganza.
Depends on what you can get. What you can get.
I don't mind selling high, like after you get the Sheffield United haul, because it depends on your game week 25 matchup. If you think you're good enough to win it without the double, then yeah, you're saving yourself some game week 26 blank heartache, and you're selling at the absolute top. But man, I want that Sheffield United haul.
Yeah, I feel you.
At least.
I mean, yeah, honestly, it's one of those, right until the wheels fall off situations. Unless
what could you get? What could you get in return? That's the question. If you can get long-term value in return, then go for it. If you
the problem is name recognition there yet? Is the name recognition and the recognition of fantasy value there yet, to the point where these Luton assets are going to get you good players back.
I think only Barkley probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, Barkley is
Just
a
because.
household name.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing to think about. But, and then of course the blank in 26.
Blank apocalypse. God damn.
Right? Yeah.
Literally just 4 teams playing.
Yeah,
I mean, so this is
there's a
potential.
chance.
This is
There's
potential.
a chance for 2 more games, but essentially it's gonna come down to 4 teams.
So let's talk about that quick.
God.
So they're talking about, on the screen, you see Gameweek 29, which I've called the blank apocalypse. It features blanks for, and these are potential so far, but they could be confirmed within a couple of weeks. But these are features blanks for potentially City, Luton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Forest, Villa, West Ham, United, Sheffield United, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Brighton, and Chelsea. So, I mean, if that happens, just, it's whatever. Don't sell your team. Don't drop a bunch of valuable players. That's just
it's just
just roll with it.
Yeah. The problem is, or the issue is, that if you can actually sort of move around some streamers in 27 and 28 to get there, because it's gonna be like 4 against 2.
Yeah.
So a win is a win.
That's a great call.
And then all these blanks will be rescheduled in doubles later on, which means that they won't hold. It's not like if you, like, for example, if you have a Man City player and a Liverpool player, it's not like then you're guaranteed to win the corresponding double, because then you're just going to steamroll them, because there's so many doubles that they're going to fall into a double game week. It's going to be a whole different ball game, whereas this win is going to be the exact same value for a win.
True.
As that double that will feature 20 games.
Yeah. So I mean,
so I think I'd definitely like that Norgard pickup that you mentioned, Ryan, even if I don't necessarily condone starting in the double, but there are worse options to do. But then again, it's West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then a fixture in 29. It's just like you don't even care who they play. It's a long hold, but it,
of course, I'm
like
against
2 or 3 players will essentially get you a win.
Right.
Even if you like, so there's Spurs are playing. So if you like, you can check if your game week 29 opponent has Madison or Son or Kulusevski or a few of the players playing, or Tony.
Just don't try then.
And then just don't try.
I'm against Son and Tony. I just looked.
Yeah. Have you just looked? Son and Tony?
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Why? Just why? I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a break. No.
Oh man.
Super.
We didn't mention that Game Week 26 involves 4 blanks, and that will be Luton, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Chelsea. So yeah,
That'd be rough.
I have a team that features Richarlison, Johnson, and Son, and so that's going to be a rough one. But come Game Week 29, I'll have the last laugh. I don't know. All right, is that enough on the fixtures?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Let's talk about some fantasy fake, fantasy for real.
Fantasy fake, fantasy for real, fantasy fake, fantasy for real. Oh.
See?
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you again to Andres, as always, for that drop. Amazing. Incredible. Fantasy fake, fantasy for real. These are players who are currently in form. We wouldn't expect it from them normally, but there's a chance that it might continue, and that's what we're here to talk about. So let's start with defenders, guys. We have big Connor Bradley, the youngster who has come on strong, to say the very least, because you know how I mentioned over the last month that Ross Barkley was number 1 overall in fantasy points. Well, Connor Bradley is number 2. 2 games started, 1 goal, 5 key passes, 3 assists, 3 accurate crosses, 2 dribbles, 2 clean sheets. He was subbed off in that Chelsea match before Liverpool conceded.
I saw. I did put a stat in the TDS chat that Conor Bradley has 3 assists from 5 key passes in the season, while Bruno Fernandes has 3 assists from 55 key passes this season.
Oh no! You're just inviting. You're inviting ire. So okay, he's 93% rostered in the big 3 leagues. You're not going to find him there. Your home leagues, you still might. But the question is not so much the form. He's great. He looks great. He's surprised me. Obviously, there was an episode a while back that we've already taken some heat for, where we said that we didn't think that he was going to be anything that impressive. Just because we expected him to be in that kind of traditional right back role, not really like the Trent style, more of just like, absorb some pressure, play a more defensive game. Well, he's much more offensive than we thought he would be. He's been great. He's fantastic. And the question, I think, is it's been floated. Okay, what if he stays there and Trent moves into midfield? And after what we saw from Gravenberch this last week against Arsenal, I think that might be an option. But will it happen?
Oh man.
I don't think
I have him
it will be. Yeah, I don't think it will be a nominal DM role for Trent. I think it will stay this fluid right back DM thing. Yeah. Although it would make a whole lot of sense because Trent was back to his last season's antics against Arsenal with the space he left behind and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't like. I think Klopp is surprisingly very, very rigid in these kinds of situations, and he's not gonna just like throw caution to the wind and just put him in midfield just because the fans say they want it. So yeah, I think it's the same situation as Tsimikas was a few years ago when he burst onto the scene. He did similar numbers, ghosted out of his mind for 3 games. Everyone was. I think Ryan himself will admit that he was a very vocal proponent for Robbo's spot being at risk, and then snap when Robbo was back, no sign of Tsimikas for the rest of the season. And I think it's going to be the same situation.
I tend to think that's probably right. I think the difference here, as we touched on it already, is the possibility that Trent can play midfield, and the fact that Bradley has done great and he plugs that defensive gap that was again exposed against Arsenal. So I think the norm will be Trent at right back, but I think the possibility of matchup dependent tactics with Bradley at right back, in which case he probably hauls when he does start, is enough to hold on to him for the time being.
What's your over-under on starts rest of the season for 3 starts?
I think it's over. I don't think it'll be more than 5 or 6, but
I think it's under 3.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit more.
I'm having trouble like not saying what my heart desires, as opposed to
what does your heart desire, Joe?
oh, I want him to play right back. I want Trent to move into a center defensive mid role. I want Maka to be able to move up the field because, for Christ's sake, he's not a defensive mid. And I want Gravenberch to get another year under his belt because he's not ready. But that's just me as a fan speaking.
I mean, the Sobo injury might force his hand as well.
Yeah.
So like tactically, I think that right sort of half space is gonna struggle because everyone has been hyping up Harvey Elliott and he's just not been able to sort of sustain any type of form this season. So if McAllister moves into a more attacking role, then that helps again the thought of Trent in midfield, who can probably step into that right attacking mid role in attacking sets. So yeah, I think the Sobo injury makes Conor Bradley's inclusion a bit more palpable.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, bottom line, right? Like, the reason why we're here in this segment is he's fantasy real. Whatever
He is definitely fantasy real. He might not be starting real, but fantasy real.
And I mean, you're picking him up though, right? If he's in your league.
Yeah.
No, Toddy?
I mean, I'm picking him up if I know he's starting, but like, are you holding?
Too late by then.
Like, the same question remains for like Joe Gomez. Are you holding Joe Gomez if he doesn't start this weekend?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm a no on that one.
So why are you picking up Conor Bradley then?
Because he's so much better than Joe Gomez, fantasy wise.
Do you think this
better chance
form is sustainable?
Well, we didn't think he was going to do what he's already done against. We thought Bournemouth was going to be a tough matchup. Turns out that wasn't the case.
Like, he's great and he's gonna play great and he's gonna score great. But there's no way that any semblance of this form is sustainable. Like, he's gonna revert back to normal Joe Gomez type numbers. So why are you rather picking up Conor Bradley than holding Joe Gomez? For what it's worth, I'm all for dropping either if they don't start. That's why. Because yeah, there's a lot of players now for not many positions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. People have been talking about we need right back help for a long time. And with this whole Trent midfield thing, maybe it finally happens. Just on the mere fact of potentially, I'm holding him as opposed to Gomez. I just don't see like the upside.
Unpopular opinion. I think Joe Gomez is ahead of him at the right back roster chart as well.
I think that is unpopular. Because I don't believe that anymore.
That's not unpopular that you think that it is unpopular.
You could have said that 2 weeks ago. I don't think that can be. You can't. I don't think you can say that anymore.
Gomez is an interesting one because he's been. I mean, arguably, this might be unpopular. Your best defender this season.
I agree. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think he's been the best defender for Liverpool this season. And that's why
he's earned the play time. Absolutely.
And that's why I think he is number one right back and number one left back. Because I think he is like he's more defensively liable in the centre back spots. I think I'd rather see Kwanzaa start and then Joe Gomez substitute and right back and left back. And that's why I think like if I see Conor Bradley's on the free agency, then I'd make a mental note to be more aware of leaks and stuff like that. But I'm not like, I pick him up if I have a streamer option and then drop him if he doesn't start, but I'm not gonna spend fab on him or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I just think if Bradley's on my wire, I'm picking him up right now.
Yeah, I spent a couple fab on him.
Yeah,
I think a week or two ago. Just yeah, you can't take it with you. And he's got the upside potentially. So wait and see.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That one's we've muddled that enough to where people have no idea what to do now. So that's exactly why. It's exactly why we're here.
None of us do.
Yeah. Who the hell? Yeah. Exactly. We were wrong about him once, so we can be wrong about him again. All right, let's talk about an interesting new addition to the Burnley squad, Lorenz Assignon. Is he a right back or a left back? Left back, right? Sorry, left back, correct? Cool. Anyway,
He's a defensive
Burnley?
back.
No,
He's a defensive back.
he's a fullback.
Fullback.
Oh Lord! All right, last week had an assist, had a key pass, just one, the one key pass and the one assist. Had one tackle, had an aerial, had a cross, had a dribble, had a few clearances, and had a couple of goals against. I mean, all over the board, but it's basically one of everything. Ended up with 11 points. I don't know.
He's a right back, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, 11 points with an assist.
I think he's fake.
I think he's fake too.
I picked him up, was happy with his points, dropped him straight
I
after.
did the exact same thing. I streamed him last week, and I dropped him this week, I think, for Kwanzaa.
That's what good
Celebrating the holiday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like
All right,
don't get emotionally attached.
We think fake, too many goals against, or do you think just without the assist, there's not going to be enough ghosts to go around?
Yep.
Both.
Too many goals conceded, not enough ghosts.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an open mind for a possible stream later on in the season, a la Dara O'Shea in a good matchup, but yeah, definitely a drop.
I like it. All right, last defender, Tosin Adarabioyo. 83% rostered in big 3 leagues, and you can still get him in some, which is interesting. And in home leagues, he's almost available everywhere. Last 3 games, 38 fantasy points, 2 shots on target. Okay. 20 aerials, 18 clearances, 7 interceptions, 1 clean sheet only, and 3 goals against, and still 38 fantasy points with the goals against and lack of clean sheets.
So you're telling me that 29 of those 38 points came from aerials and clearances?
Was that I don't do math, but I'll trust you.
Exactly what I'm telling you.
Yes, Toddy, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, he's real in a sense that aerially dominant defenders are real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah,
anybody knows worth their salt has streamed Tosin to good effect over the last couple years.
Yeah.
So now that he's getting consistent starts and he's obviously showing it, like I think he's real. They've also had a nice schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't think they blank at all.
Ooh.
Which
And they have a
valuable.
fixture in 29 as well.
Oh wow, that's actually huge.
Yeah. It's gold dust there.
And let's see, Liverpool. Oh, they're at Anfield this week. Then they have Arsenal at home, so pretty brutal. But then if you want to hold through those, you've got Crystal Palace, you've got Bournemouth at home, West Ham away, and then Brentford at home in that 29 where they might be the only team playing.
I mean, you're gonna you wanna bench him against Liverpool and Arsenal, but is it
You want to hope that he gets dropped versus Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah, and pick him up, but yeah, is he?
There you go.
Like, I wouldn't be that much against starting him in either of those games. Like, I don't think Fulham are gonna be blown out of the water in either of those games. So it's not like it's not gonna be 5 or 6 nils. This is the clip. This is the clip you want to cut out.
It's close to Neil Pinnock set and forget.
Neil Pinnock. Yep.
Exactly. Old timey Neil Pinnock.
Good old Neil.
Not new age.
Yeah.
New
Not
age Neil
go
Pinnock.
negative with 3 goals conceded. Pinnock.
Wait, he was a Man City player?
Who was Tosin?
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Ben Chickens is saying huge mistake of Man City to let him go. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. Yeah, you're right, Ben.
He spent 100 million on Gvardiol. I'm sure he's well missed.
They had Tosin right under their nose.
Yeah. Purse strings have been
Okay, all right.
decimated. Financial decimation.
Okay. Liverpool do a fair amount of crossing. Arsenal, not so much. Arsenal tend to work it in a little bit more. I thought we were going to see more of
Get
that
a lot of
against
corners,
Liverpool,
though.
and we didn't. True.
Yeah. And they're not very good at them. As in, there are a lot of clearances from corners, from defenders.
Dude, we have the most goals from set pieces in the league.
How much is that the most goals?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it matters because if it's like
you're saying basically they're trash at corners, and I'm telling you that's not the case. And you're asking for the degree of how wrong you are.
Yeah, because I think they're like 7 goals from set pieces, which is a lot for the season, but they're getting 12 corners and they're getting 0.2 goals from those 12 corners. So that means that they get like 1 goal every 3 or 4 games from the corners, whereas they're taking in that same 3 games, they're taking 30 corners, and 25 of those are going to go to aerially dominant center backs who are going to get an aerial and the clearance from those. That's all I'm saying. Like, they're good compared to anyone else, but aerially dominant center backs are going to thrive facing those a lot of corners.
Both can be true.
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I mean. They're good at corners. I'm not saying that they're not good at corners.
He said exactly that they're bad at corners. That's the only point.
Everyone is.
Run the clip.
They're
not though.
Everyone is, but they're just better at corners than everyone else is.
Oh man, if we had a social media manager, all of these things could go on Instagram as individual clips and just rack up the replies.
I think we have 15
okay. I believe he's trying to make a point that Tosin is potentially still playable in that Arsenal.
That's what Ryan said as well, though.
So you guys fucking agree on this, and you're sitting
That's
here
the tragedy of this whole farce. Yes.
Oh man, I am choppy. Welcome, man. How's it going? Things have gone off the rails here slightly, but we're gonna get back at it. All right, so Tosin, fantasy real. We all pretty much agree on that. Gonna help when he's playing teams. I almost said versing when he's versing teams. That's what my little brother says. That's what my little brother says. He says versing.
He verbs it.
Oh yeah, Iowa State's versing whoever this week. Anyway. So yeah, it's gonna help when he's versing teams that cross a lot, but
that's so bad. I can't.
It's terrible. I know it sounds really bad. It's a really American thing. Anyway, all right, moving on to midfield.
It's not.
Moving on to midfield.
It's a Joe's brother. It's just a Joe's brother thing.
It's a Williams thing.
Yeah. Sorry, Quinn.
What's
all right,
name?
Quinn.
You're an English teacher, and you're
saying versing.
I mean,
It's
verse your brother.
It's a classic thing to turn things into verbs. Look at Google, right? So I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it.
You're
All right,
comparing.
moving on.
You're comparing.
I wouldn't worry about it. Moving on. All right. Casemiro, he's back. 93% rostered in Big 3. So, I mean, okay, you're not getting him. But I thought it was interesting. I wanted to include him just because, we all kind of thought that last season was probably an anomaly and that he might be washed at this point. Well, he came back.
Those numbers can't be right.
What?
66 points in the last 2 games?
They're not right. I
was like, shit, I'm going to break my No Man United policy and pick him up.
Those are the Connor Bradley numbers. I'm sorry. I forgot to update this.
I was like, holy hell.
Oh, man.
What did I miss?
All right. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me update you on the actual numbers. In the last 2 matches since he's been back, scored 7.5 versus Wolves, scored 12.5 versus West Ham, right? So clearly we're not talking 66 points. But he is looking more promising, a little bit more like his former self. Granted, he did have an assist in that West Ham match. So all of those things sort of like taking shape. How do you feel about him? 1 key pass, 1 assist.
I always thought he was a CDM plus nice mid-4, mid-5 kind of guy. So like in that sense, he's real. If you're expecting more from him, then no. He's put on a little bit of weight as well. Just throw that in there.
Damn.
Fat shaming by KPC.
Yep. Well, he's supposed to be an athlete.
That's fair. That's one of those things you like say out of the side of your mouth, like, and he's also put on a little bit of weight. You know what I mean?
Saying it with my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Like, I know people will pick him up and they will laud his 8.5 with a yellow card. Yeah, cool. But I'd rather. I know I've been saying this, but I'd rather the 2/15 or 18 from Buonanotte than the guaranteed 8 from Casemiro.
That's not
and
the
I know,
comparison.
You just touched the nerve.
That's not the comparison to use with me around. You know that.
I know it's a touchy subject for both of you and myself as well.
So your point is that Buonanotte is going to score more points in 45 minutes than Casemiro is in 95.
Those 45-minute days are over. He's now on 2.5, the whole full 90. Which, depending on your outlook on life, is better or worse.
What did you say? 2.5, the full 90?
Yeah, and then 18.
He had a great day in the last one.
What does that mean?
2.5 points. You know this fantasy game we play?
In the 90 minutes instead of 45?
He played 79 against Palace.
He has played 90-minute games, though, now, because of all the injuries.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. He literally hasn't. He played 79 against Palace. He played 45 against Luton. He played 64 against Wolves. He played 73 against West Ham, 58 against Tottenham, 45.
79 is 90 for everyone else.
No, oh my God.
If you're averaging 45, 79
this is insane.
90.
This no. No.
Minutes are relative. Time is a flat circle.
All right, so Casemiro versus Buonanotte, rest of season bet. Go.
Casemiro's obviously going to score more points because he's nailed on and he's got a lot more of a solid floor. But Buonanotte potentially could be a better streamer week to week.
Yeah, I think Casemiro will score more overall points, but Buonanotte will beat him for WAR.
For WAR, okay. All right, always the qualifiers. So Draft Alchemy, no. Apparently, they're sort of yes, sort of no.
No, I'd rather Buonanotte than Casemiro.
to
So
hold.
Yeah, I mean, Casemiro, you're not dropping, and he's giving you 4 to 9 points consistently. Whereas Buonanotte, you can, if you have him, you can drop him and then pick him up.
So what you're saying is you'd rather the bench spot.
I'd rather the bench spot and streaming Buonanotte than Casemiro.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay.
Yes.
No, and that's fine. That makes sense. Yeah, just don't want people to get the impression that you're holding Buonanotte.
I am though, so that would be a valid impression that the
I
listeners
don't want
are
that getting out. That fact.
Oh man. All right. I hope that goes well for you. Because he's shown us who he is, and one 18-point game is not going to change that. All right. Gustavo Hamer, 90% rostered still. Randomly he was on my wire in a couple of leagues. Clear as mud, exactly. Anyway, yeah. Hamer on my wire in a couple of leagues. But regardless, we sort of got away from talking about him, so I wanted to bring him back up. Fantasy fake, fantasy for real. He went sort of dark for a little bit. He wasn't starting all the matches. He wasn't necessarily like favored. He was starting some here and there. And then he sort of got a run of games recently. I think he played 45 in the last one, but before that he'd had a run of starts and played the majority of the match. And so since Boxing Day, we have 43 fantasy points with an assist, 11 key passes, 2 shots on targets, 5 interceptions, 5 dribbles, and 2 yellow cards. So 43 points. It's not terrible since Boxing Day, and I love the 11 KPs. So are we back to calling him real like we kind of hoped he was going to be from the start of the season?
This is a tough one because I mean, I like the numbers. Still a terrible team, and he's not completely nailed on.
Yeah, that's the big issue, I think.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that if you have him right now, you'd hold, but you're not like looking to trade him in per se. Realish.
Yeah. I think it's in a sense similar to the Conor Bradley situation. Like he's fantasy real in as in when he starts he's gonna produce. But such a shit team. and he's not like
all right.
He's real, but I don't want him.
Okay. Would you rather, if you had to hold one, are you going to hold him or Casemiro?
Him.
Casemiro will.
I'd rather hold him for the upside.
Okay.
Stop trying to force Totti to hold Casemiro.
Yeah, I don't want.
Doesn't want to do it.
I don't want Casemiro.
Hold me, Totti.
Shove your Casemiro up your.
All right. Well, fair enough. So, okay, if you have him, you're holding him. Are you picking him up?
Casemiro?
No, Hamer.
I'm picking him up if he's available.
Yeah, if he's available.
Okay.
I mean, at Luton, tough place to play, but it's not like the worst fixture. So if he's starting, then yeah, I would stream him for sure.
All right.
Agreed.
So if you're going to hold one of these 3 now, what about Gustavo Hamer, Alexis McAllister, or Joao Palhinha with their current form?
I mean, isn't McAllister is a weird one because
he's been good.
He's been trash, but recently he's been good.
Yep. 9.5.
Practically,
10,
does he
16.
go back to? Yeah. Is this a Szoboszlai injury thing with McAllister?
Partly, yeah.
So,
I think I'd rather McAllister than all 3 at this point in time.
yeah, I mean, the off chance that he gets that double, it's a nice. He's got the most upside.
It's not even that off. Like,
yeah.
I think he's nailed on. So
Yeah, if Sotoslai's not coming back before then yeah.
No, he isn't.
And if I add Casemiro into that mix,
Then there will be Casemiro in the mix.
Casemiro remains in the mix.
All right, moving along. Ryan, you already alluded to this gentleman, Albert Sambi Lakanga. You did more than that. You actually spoke on him. So,
I did.
Yep. 40% in the big three. So you can still get this guy in a lot of places. 100% of your home leagues. He is available. In the last 20 fantasy points, 2 key passes with an assist, 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 dribbles, 6 aerials. And that's all with 2 yellow cards taking away some points from him that should have been his. So it seems like he's racking up points all over the park. Only the assist would be an attacking return. Everything else is looking like ghosts. So, I mean, I guess the assist does make up a decent chunk of that 20 points. How do you guys feel about him?
I like him for the next 3 weeks. I mean, you can't ask for a better schedule than Sheffield United at home, followed by a double game week, especially for a CDM. So yeah, I've picked him up for free in all of my leagues for this stretch. I'll field him against Sheffield United if I have to, but I'm really liking him for the TGW.
Yeah, he's your classic defensive midfielder streamer.
Enough said. I like it. I think I'm with you guys. It's not every week type of thing, but with a decent fixture list and the form that he's currently in, I like it. I don't mind it. Not a season-long hold though, right? Streamer.
No,
yeah,
streamer.
Definitely.
Yeah, dropping after the double.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk forwards. Rodrigo Munoz, 10%. And this is after today's waivers ran. 10% in the big three. So versus Burnley, he had 18 fantasy points. He had a goal, of course, sure. So that counts for 11? 2 shots on targets, key pass, interception, clearance, 8 aerials, which I think is one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing, and 2 dispossessions. So, yeah, I don't know. The goal,
Fake.
sure. The goal, sure, counts for the majority of those points. There do seem to be a few ghost points to be had there.
Fake.
Let others have those ghost points if they in fact are real. I think they're fake.
Yeah.
Fulham striker is the poison chalice of all poison chalices.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? The chalice that what's her name picked in the Last Crusade.
Oh, I don't know her name either. Chat, help us out.
Fraulein. What's her name? Ursula.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened with, post the big Serb, it's a spot where points have gone to die. I forget which crazy claim I made that Jimenez was not going to get more than 4 points. He got, I think, 0.5. So Frankie Muniz is not going to do it. In fact, he might lose a spot to Broya for all we know this weekend. So yeah, I'm definitely fake.
Agreed.
Frankie Muniz. Very nice. I missed that for a second. I forgot.
Never watched that show, but that name has always been.
I forgot he even existed. Frankie Muniz. Wow.
I think he's like a race car driver now or something crazy like that. Yeah.
What's that?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, there are images of him in a racing suit.
Yeah, man.
What is happening? All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Is he
he'll
still
get you more
acting?
points. We can only hope.
He's 38. Guys, he's 38. He's basically our age. Look at how much he's accomplished in his life.
Yeah, we're using him as a punchline.
Oh God. All right. Okay, moving right along. Fantasy fake on Muniz. I don't know. I think he's maybe a streamer for me, which I guess does kind of make him fantasy fake because he's not a hold. He's not one of those guys that you're gonna latch onto. And well, okay. Here's a good question. Him or Lyle Foster, rest of season.
Lyle
Neither.
Foster.
Why did you say that with a question mark at the end?
Because I'd rather Casemiro.
Finally found a
it's full
scenario
circle.
in which you pick Casemiro.
It's full circle.
I agree.
All right.
Casemiro all day.
Okay. Fair enough. What about
DDF?
Muniz or Ben Brereton?
Again, I don't want either.
Yeah, agreed. Casemiro all the way.
We're using Casemiro as a euphemism for an empty roster spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Broya. Ben Chickens brings
Same.
up Broya. Same thing.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about this many times. Draft Alchemy brings it up. Hate talking about forwards. Yeah, for sure. Forwards this year, I mean, are very streamable. So yeah, there's not a ton of reason to spend big on any of these guys or hold when, you know, the matchups aren't good, any of those kind of things. It's just, yeah, stream your forwards. And maybe you stumble into somebody like an Adebayo. Never know. All right. Speaking of streamable forwards, David Datro Fofana, 31 points, 0 games started, 56 minutes played, 2 goals, 2 shots on target, 1 assist from 2 key passes, 1 cross, 1 dribble. It's pretty impressive for 56 minutes of work.
Yes, it is. Is he gonna start? Sure, probably.
I think he has to.
Is he gonna score 31 points every 56 minutes?
No, certainly not.
Probably not. Yeah, I didn't even bid for him.
No, me neither.
I mean, yeah, they brought him in on loan, right? From Chelsea. Chelsea recalled him from, where was it?
Germany, I think.
Yeah. Recalled him.
Hoffenheim.
Yeah. He wasn't getting the play time there. And
This recall reloan is a new thing this season.
It's bizarre. It really is.
They haven't been doing this previously, have they? Or it just didn't have this much sort of exposure. But it's this season, this January, it was all recall reloans.
A lot of them, yeah.
Because of the FFP, you couldn't spend. So if you wanted like reinforcements, that's, I guess, your only recourse. That's the only thing I could
but they
sort
sent
out.
them out on loan again. So it's Ricardo, or what's his name? Not Ricardo Carvalho.
Ricky Munoz' age.
Maybe he's a racing driver as
Fabio.
well. Fabio Carvalho,
Yeah.
and Nat Phillips as well, I think.
Oh, rest in peace. Fantasy
Just
God.
sell him. God.
I know. Let the man get on with his
What you've done
life.
to that poor kid.
Jesus, let the man get on with his life.
Let him, yeah. More importantly, let him get promoted to the Premier League with another team so we can freaking draft him once and for all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I think he's at Celtic though, so it's going to be pretty difficult to get him promoted.
Ben Chickens likes Datro Fofana. Ben Chickens likes him. Thinks he looks like a different player post loan.
He told us to look at the minutes.
56 of them.
Awesome.
All 56.
I don't like the schedule. I'm monitoring to like pick him up maybe in the next like couple weeks if he starts and he does the biz, but I don't trust him in the next couple matchups.
Surely you're not going to be, if he does the biz, surely someone is going to spend on him. Like, if it's not like a very cutthroat, know-it-all league. Someone
I mean, this is your last chance. If he does anything this week against Liverpool, this is your absolute last chance, because in the next waiver run, if he gets an attacking return versus Liverpool or ghosts out of his mind, I mean, you're talking he's going to go for 10 plus, maybe 15.
Yeah, you can't take it with you type. I think if he gets anything against Liverpool, then
people are still like weird about their fab. For a name like Fofana, I still don't think you're gonna have to pay more than $1 or $2 if he does well. Like, I've been getting players that I didn't think I would get for like $1.
That's true. We both got.
I got Obeng for $1 like 2 weeks ago. Like it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
All right. Well, if he starts, who loses out?
Is it Foster or Amduini, or who did he come on for?
I don't have that up. Great question.
That's your answer.
Amazing radio. I mean, the fact that we don't know who he came on for just speaks volumes about the general value of Burnley assets.
Yeah.
We're going to be singing a different tune come game week 29, I'll tell you that.
We sure are.
It's going to be the Burnley pod.
$50 on Fofana and 30 on Amduini.
All right.
Is Amduini still there?
I don't know. I don't even know if he exists.
Okay, let's go to Elijah Adebayo.
Yep, go for it. Elijah Adebayo, 96% rostered now. I mean, honestly, I don't know that it's really worth spending a bunch. We've already talked about him a few times. He's got just incredible numbers. Since game week 15, 110 points, 13.8 points per game, 7 goals out of 9 shots on target, which is wild. 8 key passes, 9 dribbles, 20 aerials. I mean, he's just doing it.
He's somebody that I would try to trade high, because you're seeing with those numbers that this is unsustainable, and he's very goal dependent as opposed to someone like Ogbene. So, contradicting what I said earlier about wanting to hold for Sheffield, there are some assets like Adebayo that I actually would try to sell high right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't mind that, because across the board, you said you spent $1 on him. Across the board, people got him for free, completely for free. So this is one of the situations where, he's not Cole Palmer, where he's a season-long keep, right? This is house money at this point, and if you can turn him for something halfway decent, a Casemiro maybe, then I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that trade. I'm kidding. But if you can turn it for something halfway decent, I'm with you.
Toddy?
Yeah, agreed. I'm on board with selling high on all Luton players.
Adebayo, I'm just looking to see his stats quick, care of our website, thedraftsociety.com. Folks may have heard of it. We have useful draft metrics on there that can tell you things like his ghost points per 90, or his ghost points per start, which I'm more interested in. Ghost points per start, 5.1. So you were alluding to him being pretty goal dependent. That would check out. 5.1 is not awesome.
Yep.
What
did he just get, like 13 with a goal? Yeah. It's not great.
Yep. I mean, but he's been scoring a shit ton of goals.
Matchups.
Yeah, but he's not going to continue scoring a shit ton of goals.
What do you think his goal, assist, clean sheet percentage reliance is for his fantasy points?
40, high 40s,
60 something.
48.
52, right in the middle. Ceiling of 20, floor of 0.7. So there you are. Tells you pretty much everything.
Give me that 0.75, Elijah.
Everything you need to know.
I want it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you guys. I like the idea of selling high on him, especially Barkley. I think I'm going to hold Barkley for the season.
Yeah, there's some, but I think him and Ogbene. I think if they keep starting and stay fit, I think they're real rest of season. I would say Dowdy, but yeah, that's Barkley's eaten into his points. So
yeah. All right, guys, we have a couple quick questions here. I am Choppy. Good morning, lads. Hope you're doing well. Can I get your thoughts on this trade? I've been offered Soboslai for Højlund and Soboslai for Højlund and Sarabia. Korea just went out of the Asian Cup, so Sarabia could be at risk.
I think Sarabia is definitely at risk, but Soboslai's injury is still up in the air, and I've some offbeat Hungarian sources that are saying that the 3 to 4 weeks is on cue, or you might be back a bit earlier, but the mainstream sources are saying more than 3 to 4 weeks.
That's brutal.
that's a tough one.
And Højlund's just learned where the goal is.
He would bring in Soboslai
For Højlund and Sarabia.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing that.
I probably would, but only if I can comfortably hold Sobo for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, and if you got
long
decent forwards.
Yeah.
They need.
If Højlund is my forward 2, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. And then one from Nucleus. Should Olise be dropped now? In case people hadn't heard, he's out for, what is it, like
2 plus months.
So 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
He isn't going to be back for 2 months, but I just don't have the guts to drop him in case he returns earlier than expected. I mean, it's February now. That puts us in late April to regain fitness.
Unless you have playoffs, I think he's a drop. But I know what he means. Like this shit, can turn at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, and depends on what you can pick up. Like if it's like I dropped him for, I think, Alex Scott.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, if you're not playing, as long as you're not playing that roster spot, then you might as well hold. But I think he's in the at this point he's
in that roster spot next couple of weeks, given that.
Yeah,
schedule.
I think that's why he's a drop. I think he's in the at this point. I think he's in the Reece James category for injuries. You have to look at that and look at his injury record and say that those 5-game stretches of 20 plus scores are not going to offset the 18 to 25 games he's missing every season.
Yeah, that's got to be heavily taken into account come draft season too, because if he goes to City, people's mouths are going to be watering, obviously. Yeah.
They have they can send him to what's his name? What's the Catalan doctor called?
Oh, that's right. The one that Pep goes to himself when he goes back home or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I know what you. Yeah,
they all go to.
Yeah. He puts horse urine in them or something.
You're thinking of Pogba's witch doctor.
Oh, that must. Yep. Okay. Yep. That must be it.
Does Pogba still play?
Isn't he in Saudi?
He's still on the books at Juve, I think.
Is he really?
No, I think he was released by Juve, wasn't he?
No, he was suspended or whatever, and I don't think they cut him.
Yeah, he was.
He was suspended because of dope or whatever.
Yeah,
he plays for Juve, according to Wikipedia. 30 years old. What a wild career.
What a waste.
Yeah.
So weird turn of events.
What a waste.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Pogmentary as a pun is just so good. Pogback. I mean,
he was on a ban according to Draft Alchemy. Yeah, and then it got reversed, or is getting reversed. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he's still even.
Yeah, if you get banned in Italy, then that's pretty rough. I mean, you can fix matches and get away with it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, fair. All right, guys, let's do some streamers and get the heck out of here. Okay, Toddy. Nope, Ryan. JK. Ryan. You know what, Ryan? I put you first this time because I feel like I've been pushing you towards the latter end last couple.
Yeah,
weeks.
You put me in the corner.
Yeah, and I wanted.
Nobody puts Ryan in the corner.
I wanted to give you the limelight, even though Toddy got into the document first this week. I wanted to.
Yeah, these are like my worst streamer picks of the season. So thanks for
Except for Buonanotte, who's clearly your best.
I did that just to troll Joe.
Oh God.
Clearly your best pick for last.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I sent the Happy Kwanzaa gift right after Konate got sent off, so I'm sorry about that. But it was valid. So yeah, with Konate getting a game ban because of the 2 yellows, means Kwanzaa probably comes back in. He's one of those guys that has shown that he can do a job. So I don't think they'll get cute and try and shift Gomez into that role. But, weirder things have happened. But I think Kwanzaa gets that start, and Burnley at home's a great matchup. So, I picked him up in leagues where I can. Norgard, I like more of as a stash for the DGW, but in a pinch, he's not a bad shout against Wolves. I thought he played pretty well against City. Obviously 5.5 is not great, but should do better against Wolves. And I like him for the DGW as he regains fitness. I've talked about the Conga to death. Another one that I'd rather for the DGW, but Sheffield United at home, he might be able to get forward a bit more and maybe nix an attacking return. Buonanotte is, frustrated us all, but is coming off of an 18.5 point performance and is against that Spurs defense. So enough said.
Is it though?
I think so. I'll let our listeners be the judge, but
all right. Fair enough. Toddy.
Before I go into my streamers, 2 points of discussion. One is, are we picking up Wang in any of our leagues where he was dropped? Because he is back.
Yeah, was he dropped anywhere? I've been dropped in any of my leagues.
No, he wasn't dropped in any of my leagues, but I'm in good leagues.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would absolutely advise anybody.
Because I don't know if we've explicitly said this, but South Korea are out of the Asia Cup, losing to Jordan, and
wow,
the players are supposed to be and will be back in training midweek, so they're primed to start at the weekend. And the other thing is, and I've been secretly trying to research my point from an hour ago.
Okay.
And
no wonder you seem a bit distracted.
Exactly. And it was very on the down low. You didn't even notice.
Not at all.
Neither did the listeners or viewers.
Blindly agreeing with me. I'm used to that.
Just the top of your head. Yeah.
So Arsenal have taken 176 corners so far this season, And the most relevant statistic I could find is that last season
Most relevant.
they had 12 goals from corners. This season they have already had 13 goals from all set pieces, so they can't be above 12 for corners. So meaning that every they score a goal from a corner at around the rate of every 10 corners or something like that, or less or more. Sorry, 12 corners, meaning that getting aerially dominant defenders against a team who swings in a lot of corners, however good that team might be at getting a score from corners, is a good idea. That was my point.
All right.
And on that point,
something we agreed on an hour ago. I thought this whole long windup was like, the ratio of corners taken to goals is actually not great, even though they're the top goal scorer from corners. They're shit at corners, which is your original point, which I'll roll back the tape. But go ahead.
Yes, and everyone agreed on that point.
Ben Chickens, Toddy teaching maths.
Yes.
MAFFS.
So,
I love that.
And this is just a sort of phenomenal segue.
Not a great point.
Tosin being a good streamer against Bournemouth. Osho against Sheffield United. I wouldn't start Luton defender in the double, but against Sheffield, absolutely yes. JP Mateta, who managed the seismic feat of getting minus points as a forward against Sheffield United.
When I picked him up, yeah.
Yeah. I bet he's scoring more points against Chelsea. Because
it is a bet.
He's their only attacking outlet at this point.
That's true. Other than forward one, Jordan Ayew.
Fair.
And although I did slate him earlier in the podcast, I do believe that we are going to see a Harvey Elliott start against Bournemouth. And at this point, if you're chasing upside, then he might be a decent bet, because otherwise it's a barren wasteland on the free agency for upside midfielders.
Interesting. You really think he starts this week?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I've thought that
it's not going to be Gravenberch.
I sure hope not. All right, sweet. Okay, here's mine. I was last in the dock, keep in mind. But Menji, of course, versus Sheffield. Could do worse than that. He's been okay recently. Right along the line with Toddy's Osho shout. I mean, honestly, same thing, essentially. He's actually been ghosting okay. That's the reason I kind of went with him. Speaks for itself, I suppose. Tielemans, you can still get him in several leagues. He actually was pretty quality last week, surprisingly, because he's had just a rough season and a half now. But he was fine, and United have been better recently. But as far as a streamer goes, you could do worse. I'm willing to trot out Frankie Muniz for one more week, just to see if he can repeat it versus Bournemouth. He's your forward 3. Don't get it twisted.
If his racing skills translate
right.
Football pitch.
Don't think he's going to be gonna light the world on fire. But as your forward 3, you could do worse, I think. And then of course Alex Scott, Toddy, you already mentioned him versus Fulham. He's got a chance to ghost fairly decently. You're not probably hoping for more than 13 for him on a good day. But yeah, he could do it. So these are kind of like bottom of the barrel, day of. I don't think these guys will be rostered aside from Tielemans. These guys probably won't be rostered in most leagues. You can hopefully pick them up day of. But yeah, I was going to mention quickly one thing you get in the toolkit is Gameweek transaction data. in the big 3 leagues. So let's see how many of our guys showed up on the community leagues in terms of the difference between the roster ship beforehand and the roster ship after waivers ran this week. Top 10 pickups of this week would be Kwanzaa, Osho, Lakanga, DDF, Dacho Fafana, Sinistera was still available in 30% of leagues, so now he's 90% rostered. Tielemans, the aforementioned, Menji, the aforementioned, Sergio Reguilon against Wolves, but they're away at Wolves this week.
And then they have the double from hell.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. There's no way I'm risking.
Classic trap.
So he went from 50% rostered to 66 in the big 3, and he's 21% rostered in every other league. So he's there if you want him, but yeah. Amari Bell, another Luton defender, and then people are picking up Ansu Fati preemptively. So that rounds out your top 10. So that is interesting in and of itself. Anything to close it out, guys?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is start trying to stash for the upcoming game weeks when you can. If you like have a game week sewn up or a roster spot open that you're not going to use, utilize that opportunity to pick up somebody that you're going to try and field next week in the double game weeks, so you don't have to try and get them next week because it's going to be twice as hard. So otherwise, good luck.
I like it. All right, everybody. If you made it this far, you're fantastic listeners. We love you. People who join the live stream, people in chat, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for making this fun every single week. This was a crazy one. We had a good time. And if you want to be a part of it, join us next week on the live stream. But otherwise, obviously available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And as usual, we wish you the best in this game week, honestly. And start prepping for the TGW. Let's do this thing. All right. KPC out. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Cheers.